All right, moments ago, I finished listening to the 1981 radio drama version of Star Wars, fully voice acted with Mark Hamill and Anthony Daniels and other actors. There's full music and explosions and things like that. I wanted to do a quick recommendation. I could recommend it really to anyone. If I had a rubber stamp, I would put it on it. But really, it's for people who maybe feel a little disconnected with Star Wars or they need a new angle to the first film. Let's face it, we've probably seen it 100 times or more, a lot of us, and it's hard to hold on to the magic of that original time that we saw it, or the first 10 times or 20 times, whatever. And having this new angle to it was fantastic. Now, since starting the channel, a few things have really been recommended to me more than anything else. One of those was the West End Games RPGs. It kind of set the stage and set the rules for Star Wars before the Heir to the Empire books would come out. I haven't gotten to that. Another thing was the Marvel comics. We had some, from the original line that came out. We also had some from the UK. Those were another thing that was really recommended. And the number one thing, I think, by far, has been this radio drama. Now, this doesn't feel like rehashing the same events of the film necessarily. It does a little bit of that with the Marvel comics, but I was surprised because there's so much value added with this. Now, this is a 5-hour production, so it does go over a lot of the events of the film, but it has so much more context leading into it. In the original novelization of Star Wars, which was based on an earlier script, we had a lot more about Luke Skywalker in his element with his friends, and he was best friends with Biggs. He kind of idolized him. He had dreams of fighting the Empire and joining the Rebel Alliance, but that seemed like, how do you even do that? No one even knows how to find the Alliance. And so we get more of that here. It was really interesting. As I was reading the novelization and going to this initial Marvel comics that handled some of that, I thought that would be so cool to get that in a film. And so we get some of that in the radio drama. We get a Beggar's Canyon race and some of that sort of thing. We get friendship with Biggs. My favorite thing from the novelization we actually get in the rough draft. It's when Luke's looking up in the sky. He's actually seeing the flashing lights of Leia's ship getting attacked. And he's kind of getting mocked for telling his friends that it's Imperials or there's a space battle up there. They think he's just naive. It's excellent. Luke feels a little more grounded and young and idealistic, and I think that's great. The rebellion is also set up and more in the forefront than even in the films, which was great. And if you're big fans of Leia, I think she gets the biggest upgrade here. She's amazing. We don't start off with her just getting captured. We have a lot of things leading up with her being under suspicion, and she's on Alderaan with his father, and they're hosting the Empire. The Empire sometimes blasts away at people and threatens them, but they also go and they try to make deals and seduce different kingdoms and planets and things with riches and, power. And that's happening here on Alderaan, and something slips up, and then that's what leads us into the film entry to Leia. It's awesome. I don't know if I even mentioned, but this is written by Brian Daley, who wrote the Han Solo adventures. I love how Brian Daley handles this. And it seems like sometimes we could iterate on things and develop things further and kind of spoil things. I think he handled this original story great. So we get more context with Leia, also with R2 and 3PO, why they are on that ship. Another thing that's so fantastic that you'll get from the rough draft, if you're a big fan of Luke's training on the way to Alderaan by Obi-Wan, when he has the blast shield on, he's deflecting things. Luke really wants to learn how to do all this stuff, but Obi-Wan's bringing it down. It almost feels like it's closer to what we get with Yoda in The Empire Strikes Back, and by this point, The Empire Strikes Back had been out for a year. And so I think it sort of expands on that a little bit. It's really fantastic. Luke wants to do all this stuff, but he's learning that above all, the grounding principle for becoming a Jedi is not, going off on amazing adventures and things. It's trusting the Force, and that's really the point of this whole movie. It seems like that's part of the big conclusion here. He finally trusts it fully. It's awesome. It's value added, especially in this rough draft. Now, I would definitely not call it a definitive version over the film. I think it's great. I wish we could have a novelization now by Brian Daley. I think he handled it so great. Again, if you're feeling maybe a little disconnected with Star Wars, you loved the original trilogy, but you viewed it a million times, I think you should go to this. So, I left a link in the description. If you're going to view anything else on YouTube, you might as well go there. I think you'll know right away if you like it. I think the hype is real for it. I loved it. I can't wait to go to the Empire Strikes Back version of it and for Return of the Jedi. I think this was A+ writing. You know, the voice acting can be a little bit janky and things like that, but it was very entertaining. And I'll talk to you later. Come back and let me know what you think about it.